trumpets are my mouth. Would you not? Do you have to eat potato chips next to me while we do it?
Not me. That was peanuts.
Whatever it is, I just, please.
Do you want to just connect to my Steam? That's what we should.
No. I got it.
No.
Hearing you guys reminds me of me with my brother.
I'm sorry.
Just enter the code. Mac and I have always dreamed about making a game studio as far back as I can remember. It started on the Commodore, and then really diving into multiplayer games more so when the N64 came out. James Bond, 007, Slappers Only, Proximity Mines, and then Halo. And that's when it started to get into like capture the flag modes. Like Team Fortress 2 was super influential on me.
We both grew up, I mean, not just playing games. I mean, my mom just showed me last week in my baby book that it said like at 9 years old, I was programming on our Commodore 64. And I have a third grade thing that says like, what do you want to do when you're older? And it was like, own a video game studio, which is like weirdly specific, right? So I think like that itch has been in our DNA for a very, very long time.
When I came to Mac originally about making Last Flag, it was just the two of us that were going to make a game. So he was going to kind of do the 3D modeling, and then I was going to do the coding and create a game in Unity. And that's how Last Flag started, was originally just us dreaming and me making animations and storyboarding and coming up with who the heroes were going to be and what the game was going to play like.
Those early days were just kind of riffing and ideating and testing things over and over and over again.
We typically like different games, and I think that's actually helped Last Flag. Like, I really spend a great deal of time playing MOBAs, playing League of Legends, playing RTS games, StarCraft, Warcraft. Like, I like tactical, I like macro, micro. Mac is really, like, he was so good at GoldenEye. I hated it.
I grew up really loving shooters. GoldenEye was just like a huge part of my childhood. It was the only game that I ever thought, oh, I could go pro. Like I could do this. But I still play tons of Overwatch and Valorant, and I think that there's a moment-to-moment mentality that shooters cherish and protect. And I'm probably a fierce advocate for that, and Dan is really great at bringing this perspective of thinking about progression and meta and thinking about team play and coordination.
And so Last Flag really is a mix of both of our favorite games. Like when we started it, it was going to be a MOBA top-down. You were going to have a field of vision that was like a cone, and then slowly over time as we were iterating, I'd get back in the game on Unity, and Mac had like moved the camera closer and closer, and I was like, Mac, why is the camera so much closer now? Like, it's almost a first-person shooter. He's like, oh, I don't know, we're just, the team's just finding that just feels a little better. And I'm always like pulling the camera back. And
all we knew was we wanted to do capture the flag. I think it's when we had our first Unity build that was third-person, real hide and seek. Like real hide the flag anywhere, find the enemy flag. That first time we played it, we knew right away, like, this is special. Like that feeling when you're frustrated, you're looking everywhere, and then suddenly it's like, I found it. Like, you feel like the greatest. And we knew in that moment, okay, everything we're gonna do is gonna build around this.
We never thought that it would grow into what it has, which is now we have an awesome indie team of people that are so much more talented than us that we get to be a part of. The mechanic of being able to hide the flag versus your flag is always in this set position is really at the core of what Last Flag is. To give this element that captures the feeling that I had growing up in schoolyard PE, hiding your flag, or in scout camp in the woods.
We really were trying to distill down, like, what is it that made that different, right? Why was it different than CTF game modes? I think there's a lot of people who say, oh, that's one of my favorite game modes, or that is my favorite game mode in Call of Duty. But I think that you're always limited in how far you can take a concept when it's the sideshow to your main event, right? Our commitment is to say, no, like, there is something worthy of a real game here. And it requires everything from the game mechanics to the level design to the heroes and their abilities. Everything from the ground up has to be built to support capture the flag. You know, we really wanted to set the stage for, on a micro level, being able to play with different styles but also on a macro level to be able to win with different play styles.
And I'm typically not the best shooter. And so one of my favorite parts of the game is the radar towers, which are these points that you can go and capture by going over and killing anybody who's on it and holding the point. And as you capture a radar tower, it then slowly reveals the map and will help you find where the flag isn't and where it is. For me, I enjoy being a support player in that way. Like, I love League of Legends. I love to play in the jungle. I love to be support because that's where I can help.
So probably the element of like cash bots.
These NPCs that if you kill the cash bots, you then raise cash for your team, and then they use that cash to upgrade their skills.
And it not just having your skills all to begin with.
Probably comes from that MOBA loving part of me, where it's like in League of Legends, you're leveling up your character, you're acquiring your skills, and then leveling up skills. You can decide whether to go into the jungle and you kill, creeps to make your character better, or just rely on your skill.
And so that really helps us with that kind of barrier to entry, where if you come in, there's a lot of games that I just can't play anymore as shooters because I get in and a 12-year-old headshots me and I get frustrated and angry and it just feels too punishing. I can cater my play style to my own strategy for winning. So if we know we're great shooters, we're not very confident in our flag finding abilities, maybe we don't know the map as well, I'm gonna pick people who are a little more beefy and good at holding down the point. I might put like an archer on Overwatch or something like that. However, if I really wanna double down on flag fighting, I'm gonna want more nimble characters. I'm gonna wanna have a scout. A lot of times people will play and be like, oh man, the lumberjack's OP or the archer's OP. And it's really by design. We really wanted it so that in certain situations, you're gonna always have the advantage. And so you have to be thoughtful about what situations you put yourself into in the game. So if I'm the lumberjack, I'm running across the middle of the field, yeah, I'm gonna get picked off pretty easy. But if I'm the archer and I turn around a corner and I run into a lumberjack at the point, good luck, you're in trouble. And so one of the main differentiators is giving players decisions to make, giving them choices like, do I spend my time doing this? And I can take risks that might pay off or might not. I can roll the dice, I can go looking for the flag and say, screw the towers, like we're just going out looking. It's your choice. Keeping the base in a central location but allowing people to hide it anywhere allowed us to have our gameplay experience that has a ton of depth without too much complexity and is replayable over and over and over again. We still see new hiding spots all the time. I'll still play and be like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that spot before, I can't believe I thought of it. But the other side of it is sometimes the psychology comes into it a little bit more, where the other team might be more prone to hiding it somewhere really risky, right at the 50-yard line, like in a building or something that you wouldn't usually think to search there because you're like, oh, that's like pretty dangerous spot to hide the flag. But they know me, they know, oh, Mac's gonna be searching around the back line, so I'm gonna put it there. So you do get a bit reactive in the way that you hide and find over time.
Every single game is different. There's so many different ways to cheese. We want people to bluff. We want people to, sometimes you'll find a team all staying on one side of the map, looking like they're guarding their flag when really the flag is on the other corner. Like, that's just a small example of like little bluffs that happen all the time, but there's this deep joy you find from when you capture the flag and you're running with it back to your base. And do you take this path, do you travel this path that they think you're gonna be on, or are you gonna take this side route? Because again, it can give you an advantage as a lesser player just by thinking with your brain opposed to just being really great with your reflexes and getting a headshot every time or something.
This is so different than I'm pushing down a lane for the entire game, or I know exactly this one objective we're gonna fight over. It's really asymmetrical warfare. And so in 10 to 15 minutes, you might have hiding, finding, payload escort with the flag, point capture with the radar towers, base assault, base defense. All of these things that are familiar, I think, but presented in a way that's very different and with something that is completely different, which is hide and seek at the core.
When we first started, I would sketch like one of the heroes and then I'd send it to Mac with a song. So I made a song for every character to begin with. The original idea, which still exists today, is the idea of this evil Mr. Fex.
Victor Fex is this kind of mysterious media mogul, and he owns Fex Enterprises.
We loved the idea of this kind of like game show, reality show, like Hunger Games.
Where you feel through the announcer system and all the other things happening, you can kind of feel that game show kind of infusing into everything you're doing. And it's a little bit sinister, you know? At first, under the glance, it's kind of funny. It's got like a Portal-esque kind of, there's something happening below the surface. Is the cake real type of thing, right? There's a little bit of that.
We really want it to feel authentically like you're on a game show in the 70s. So when we approached the sound, it was like, what is the music that would play on a game show in the 70s? With our own little thing to it. Stolen. Tears are phenomenal. Phenomenal. Yes, in short, I am doing music for the game, and that's been a fun, creative endeavor for me. I think my favorite song is the one that plays when you lose. It's like this really sad song about like, stolen. One of the things that I had a lot of fun doing in creating the songs was I loved The Sims growing up, and I loved how the talking was gibberish, and it was kind of this like, oh, so you're kind of listening, and it's more about the sentiment, like the feeling of it. There's like, you hear the word stolen flag, but then there's like some other just words that are just gibberish. We've wanted to create everything with live instrumentation and record it in a way that was done in the 70s with the same mics and the same compressors and equalizers. And so we've really had a lot of fun just kind of geeking out in the studio together. And now we have an incredible team, Dave Lowe-Miller and JT Daly. Dave worked on everything from Battlefield to Dead Space. JT is Grammy, amazing multi-instrumentalist.
I'm JT Daly, and I was brought on to help with the music for Last Flag. They had already started some of it. Dan and Dave had started some of this music. They were, starting to make some original sounds and songs. But I think they just needed someone else, to help throw gasoline on that, basically. Usually Mac or Dan will call me with a prompt, just something to kickstart it. We want like a Pink Panther feel, slinky. It needs to inspire that you're going to hide something, because you're hiding your flag. And, my approach to composition is a bit backwards. I'm not really someone who sits down with a piano and it all comes out at once. It's very much so like when inspiration hits, it's a lot of voice memos. Da, 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 da. So I'll go in and then I'll come back and do something all tracked upstairs,
We're building a really different soundtrack, I think, than most shooters, where I think typically it exists kind of in this EDM world. Like, we've really enjoyed making something that's a little more warm and organic. And when we're in the studio, even the methodology of like how we're recording things with vintage microphones and things like it needs to really feel like you are in this kind of stadium surrounded by people watching you.
It took me a while to figure out how to execute that because I kept on turning in things and it didn't sound live enough. The drums were gated, they were too dry. And I realized that I would have to take their sounds and I would actually play them from my setup to my upstairs room and use my ribbon mic up there. So basically, like, the TV set sound is our upstairs room. There's basically a whole genre of instruments that just don't really get used to, like vibra slaps. The instrument that's like a lot of things were amped. It's a very microphone soundtrack. Almost everything hit air. We really tried to make a soundtrack that was specific to the narrative.
Come on. That's it.
That's it.
There's something really interesting and cool about the palette of the 70s to me. Like the colors, I don't feel like have been done in a shooter in this specific way.
And we would call it retro more than 70s, to be honest, because we're not extremely true to the decade, but we're pretty true to the spirit of it. And for us, the spirit of the 70s in America was really about bold personalities. It was really about expression. You know, we wanted to make a game where every contestant is larger than life, and it felt like a very, very good time period to tap into.
My name is Brian Thompson, and I'm the art director at Night Street on their first project, Last Flag. The art of Last Flag is designed to be fun, refreshing, bold, and vibrant. I talk about the art is having three main pillars. It needs to be amplified, stylized, and have variety. And the 1970s really is about, you know, over-the-top kind of swagger and style. So it wasn't necessarily like the go-go boots and the afros and that kind of thing. It was more that each character had a really distinct style that you could imagine somebody from the 70s having. The things that influence style on Last Flag in particular is a strong focus on character design through silhouette and conveying really unique characters. That's something I think that was done so well in Team Fortress 2. Most people appreciate that about the game. Moby Frankie, the art director on that game, is somebody that I really admire, and from that standpoint, we work in 2D, so a lot of 2D concepts and a lot of gesture sketches. That's where I like to work, especially, is how the characters are going to move and some key poses. And they all have a unique and interesting way of moving through their abilities and the way they behave, and it's meant to be exciting and fun for the player.
One of my favorite games is Team Fortress 2, and there's like a cheesiness to it, and it doesn't take itself so seriously. Like when I think of the NBA All-Star game, like people are having fun. It's like the dunk contest, and you're like being a little more flashy. That's kind of the philosophy of Last Flag, is like fun first. We wanted that playfulness to it that I think Team Fortress 2 does incredibly well. Of course, we want it to be competitive, and there's a place for that, but above all, we want people to be laughing a lot and having fun. Like, we wanted to go back to the days where it gives us the same feeling that we had when we were at my house when I was a kid, like doing LAN parties and playing like Unreal Tournament or something, where it's like there was just so much joy.
Joy of movement is critical to us. And, you know, when Dan and I think about the games that inspired us, you know, I think of Mario 64 and how it felt when I used that controller for the first time, and it was like, oh my gosh, it just feels magical. Or even games like Prince of Persia or Flashback. I love like Delphine. Those games gave me this like joy of movement that we've really tried to capture in our game. You know, it's less of a combo. If I do A, B, C, I'm gonna get this outcome, so I'm gonna rinse and repeat that. It's more of, I have these tools in my toolkit and I can use them any way that I want. I'm painting on this canvas. What makes sense in this situation?
Like, we really wanted to try things that maybe could be ultra cheesy and really annoying. Okay, for example, like there's a gun that if you shoot someone, you can then teleport them to where you want. And it's really frustrating. When you get hit with the teleport gun, you're like, and then you're thrown, like you're just about to capture the flag or something, or you can teleport your own team members by doing it.
So combining that with a turret that you teleport into the room where they're at, you're constantly finding ways to use them in new ways. People love to discover stuff. People love to not be spoon-fed, and I think our abilities try to do that. They really try to kind of encourage people to almost break the game. Like, just think about a way to use them that's really unusual.
Last Flag is a process, and we're just inviting players to come on this journey with us to like discover the fun. And we've been doing that now for years, being like, okay, this ability is actually not fun because it's too broken. Like, I'd rather that problem than us making abilities that are just all boring and rote. Like, our approach to everything was like, what is a game that we want to play? We're going to be playing this every day, a lot more than anybody else for many, many years now. We're only going to be able to do that if we love this. And so all our approach has been like, what's going to make this more fun for us? And in doing that, I think you best serve your audience.
Similar with any kind of creative endeavor, you really have to start from a place of inspiration and be true to that. And so for us, that inspiration was capture the flag. And that may not be for everybody, right? That might be for a specific subgroup of people who really, really enjoy that like different aspect of the sneaking and the hiding and the creativity and the over-the-top stuff. It's not for everybody, but we'd much rather make something that some people will feel passionate about and some people understand than trying to just chase after a genre or chase after a market. Like that's not inspiring. And I think at the end of the day, people can feel when something is real to you. I think they can feel like the love, the passion.
I just want to share the joy and the laughter. Even in the beginning when Mac and I were just going to make this game together, we were like, man, if the family could play this game like our brothers and just enjoy themselves, like that's a win for us. We're in it for the long run. So I guess where we're going to be in a year, hopefully having a community of people that have built a great game. I think we have a great game, but maybe have built a fantastic game.
It's a beautiful thing to see tons of creative people coming together and bringing their ideas to the table and bringing their heart and soul to the table. And that for me has been so fulfilling. And the way that studios and game devs look out for each other. Everybody knows it takes a village, right? It's not about the artist, it's about the art. And I think people like to believe that a studio made up of really talented people who are given the creative freedom to challenge each other can create something super, super special.